Digital asset investor. It's Monday morning, and I'm coming off of a weekend of starting. I'm beginning to notice some negativity out there in the XRP community, so I wanted to put some things in perspective because negativity is not where anybody thrives, in my opinion. Um, I found this post on XRP chat, and for those of you who have not checked it out, there's some really smart people in XRP chat. You go to xrpchat.com and you can find some great posts in there. But I saw this one, and this is the one that captured my attention more than anything I've seen on there in a while. This guy, I'm gonna give proper credit. His screen name's Second Time Around. He's a veteran member. But he put this up here. He says, we may be at the point of maximum financial opportunity. And having invested for many years, this kind of hit me because what I've learned about investing in the last 20 plus years, more than any one thing, is that if you can take the emotion out of your investments, you stand to gain much more than those that can't do that. And I'm living proof with my holdings of XRP that this can happen because I went through, I think it was between 2013 and 2016, there was a period that many don't know about with XRP where everything cryptocurrency related was completely dead for somewhere between 2 and 3 years. Now, when the market gets like that, we're not going to be dead for 2 or 3 years again because things are too far along now. But when the market gets like that, you really have two options if you want to be a smart investor, in my opinion. The one is what I did during that time period, which is just put it away and forget about it. And at the time, I thought, because this was before anything, this was before Ripple really had products that were close to going live and really had any significant amount of partnerships. And so at the time, I literally thought, okay, well, maybe I was wrong about Ripple. Maybe nothing's going to come of it. And then out of nowhere, Ripple had been working behind the scenes, and out of nowhere, the market came back to life. Now we're much, much further along with cryptocurrencies and with Wall Street getting involved and with exchanges opening up and exit and on ramps being created that were not there back then. We're nowhere close to where it was back then in terms of that was the dark ages. And so what the downturn we've had recently, these are short-term things, but I want to show you what this Second Time Around did on what he put up on XRP chat, and I'm going to go through with you and show you what you're going through and the way you need to look at it. This chart was in his post, and it's called The Cycle of Market Emotions. And there are many, if you look at this, it's very clear if you've studied wealthy investors and how they behave, where they enter markets in this cycle. And it shows you here, it says optimism, excitement, thrill, euphoria. This for XRP, this would have been back in December, especially for some of you investors who came in around this point, and you're sitting in here at a dollar something or $3 and something even. But you went through this euphoria and you made the classic investor mistake. It's not a mistake, don't get me wrong. It's not a mistake over the medium to long term, because XRP is going to go way, way past where it is now. But you came in at the top of one hype cycle. But over the mid-term to long term, you're going to be more than fine. But this is how it always works. And I've been through at least 4 or 5 of these since I bought XRP. Optimism, excitement, thrill, euphoria, anxiety. Everybody starts getting nervous, and then the market kind of starts going down and collapsing. And then we go into denial, fear, desperation, panic, capitulation, despondency, depression. And this weekend, when I was listening to some other YouTubers and reading some people on Twitter, it dawned on me that this right here is exactly where we are, and that's what this guy is saying in his post here. You are at the point of maximum financial opportunity, not just in XRP, but in the cryptocurrency market. And the reason is because right here, and I could hear it in the voices, and I read it in what people were saying, but it's right. You can just sense the despondency bordering on depression right now. Not in me, because I've never been more excited, and I know what's coming, but I'm going to show you a little bit more about why I'm thinking the way I'm thinking and put things in perspective a little bit. We're fixing to cross this, and this right here is coming. Well, what I want to show you is this is the Dow Jones. This is what the stock market has done since the financial crisis, and that was in 2009 when it bottomed. And if you remember, if you were around, Bear Stearns collapsed, Lehman collapsed. People at this point right here, I mean, there were many people who literally thought that we were about to have lines at banks and there was going to be runs on the banks and the world was about to collapse. And in fact, Hank Paulson, the Federal Reserve, I think he was the Federal Reserve chairman at the time, literally went to Congress and got on his hands and knees and begged them to give him bailout money to, quote, save the financial system. If you had invested your money in the stock market at that time, you would have been on one of the better runs ever in the stock market from then until now. But even though that has been one of the better runs in the history of the stock market, let's look at the numbers behind that just to put this in perspective. This is the historical returns of the S&P 500 since 1986. And you'll see here 18.5, 5.2, 16.8, 31.5. Wow, that's great. 30.5 in 1991. Let's keep going and see. Right around in here is when we had the internet run up back in the 90s. The best return was 33.4% in 97. And then you see a few down markets. This one in 2008, that's your financial crisis, minus 37%. So now that you've seen some of these figures with the stock market, let's look at your investment and in XRP and the larger cryptocurrency market, which your investment, which I would refer to as the investment of 2 lifetimes, and I've done a video called that before. Let's look at your investment, and then start. While I'm showing you this, I want you to think, should you really be depressed? Okay, first of all, and I realize some of you weren't in before 2017, but in 2017, XRP went up 36,600%, okay? And I believe as Brad Garlinghouse said, we're just getting started, okay? 36,600%. So the people that I've been watching on YouTube and on Twitter, everybody's all depressed. And they're depressed because in 2017, we went up 36,600%. And then, I'll pull this next article if it'll load for me. And then, now we've had a terrible performance in 2018 for XRP. Let's look at what that performance is. It's right around 87%. So, after 2017, we gain 36,600%. Now, I understand that some of you came in at the tail end of this, okay? But in the mid to long term, you're not at the tail end of this, okay? But I want you to understand the overall numbers, because there's 2 things that have not happened. This 36,600% was done before Ripple has even put out a product, like gone live with a product using XRP. This is just on the hype of what everybody thinks is fixing to happen. This is is just because of, this is this year, and this is just because of things like the custody issue and regulation that's being held back. But in the scheme of things, I believe that this is even going to be small. And let me show you why. Because here's what you have coming, and I've said it several times. You've got a market that's got 273 billion as of this morning. The entire crypto market has 273 billion dollars in it. That is a joke compared to where this is headed. And the last thing I wanted to show you, here's why. Now, this is Charles Hoskinson. He's the founder of Cardano. And remember, all that these guys that are heavy duty, big timers in the cryptocurrency space, all these guys do is go around and they go to these cryptocurrency blockchain events. They talk to venture capitalists, investors, and technology people, and that's all they do is talk to people about what's going on in the space and what's coming. And so this guy, this is in June of 2018, he says, what's often missed by the cryptocurrency is going to die, broken record media, is that after the next wave of regulation, Wall Street is showing up to the party with all their locked up capital. That's tens of trillions of dollars entering the space eventually. The future is bright. And what I would say to you about what he just said, when he says Wall Street is showing up to the party, all he's talking about right there is the speculation money. That doesn't even include Ripple, XRP, XRapid going live using money, an actual utility. If you add the utility to, if anybody even catches a whiff of XRP actually having a utility and going live with utility with one company, if Wall Street just smells it, you can take that speculation money and multiply it times 50, because it's going to be even bigger than that the second that it's even smelled. I believe that you're going to have what he's referring to, the tens of trillions in speculation money. I believe that you're going to have one big, huge hype party. Even if we don't see any utility in the next year, you're still going to see a huge hype party just off of the new thing. In fact, there was an article that they were talking about on Twitter this weekend about how people, I believe, I didn't read the article, so don't quote me here. I'm just telling you what I heard somebody say in a YouTube video. But what they were talking about is how it's a real thing now that people are treating cryptocurrency addiction. Now, if you put that in perspective, cryptocurrency, and those of us that are doing it, you can totally see how that can happen, because it's once you buy cryptocurrency, and it's been very difficult to do over the last few years, but once you actually buy cryptocurrency, and I was telling my father this yesterday, if you buy it and then you send it across the internet, even if it's Bitcoin, which is very slow by cryptocurrency standards, when you send it from one place to the next and you see it happen, you sit back and you know this is going to change everything. Well, it forms kind of an addiction. It's so amazing that this technology is here that you do get really, really involved in it, and I have been. Well, what's going to happen when Wall Street, when the average Joe is able to go into their, say, E-Trade account, and they're able to experience what we've been experiencing the hard way over the last 4 years, whether it's having to go from your bank account to Coinbase and then buy Bitcoin and then transfer it here and go into a different currency like XRP. That's the thing we've had to do. But what happens when the average Joe investor can go straight into his E-Trade account and he can buy XRP the same way he can buy a share of Facebook? The same, what they're talking about, the crypto addiction, the same thing is going to happen, but it's going to happen on a much, much, much larger scale. Just the pure hype of it alone is going to make those of you that are listening to this right now so wealthy, because if you've got it now, you're so early to the party that it's not even funny. And so I hope that I got my point across to you guys. We're on the, and I tweeted this, we're on the precipice of a world change. And if you're in it now, and if you're knee deep in the XRP community the way that I am, and the way that many people that follow me and many people that listen to me are, if you're that knee deep into it and you understand that fully, you're so far ahead of the pack. I can't even tell you what your future is in terms of appreciation of your XRP asset. And it is an asset. Well, I wanted to tell you guys, I am not an investment advisor, but I am the digital asset investor. Please subscribe to my videos and pass it around to your friends, and hit the like button as much as you can. I'm trying to grow the channel as much as possible, as fast as I can, and I'm gonna be, I keep telling you guys I'm gonna be doing live streams. I played with it a little bit this morning. I have not gotten back with him, but Crypto SB, who you should follow on Twitter and YouTube, he's gonna help me work with it. But I got so busy with the day job this weekend that I have not been able to get with him. But I am going to, here in the near future. I want to get, I want to do it right when I do it, and so I have been putting it off just a little bit. For those of you that have never listened to me, go into in the description of every one of my videos. I've got two things that you might be interested in. The first is the safest way to store your digital assets is with the Ledger Nano S. I've got a link that takes you directly to the company to buy one. That's the only way to do it. Go directly to Ledger and get one. It's the safest way to store your digital assets offline. It's like having a thumb drive with your digital assets on them. You can unplug it. Also, I've got a cryptocurrency merchandise store, and there's a link there, and you can also, I've got a code where you can get 20% off. So go get you an XRP shirt or something. Or a coffee mug maybe. Well, I appreciate everybody listening, and you guys have a good Monday. Thank you.